Welcome viewers, karibu tena. Hapa ni Politics Today, Science TV. Hapa tunachapa siasa. How has your week been? Tumerudisha Christopher NZAU. You know, I'm used to calling you Chris NZAU. By the way, how are you?
Very well,
yes.
Very well, Jonah.
Karibu Science TV tena. Our sign language interpreter is Gideon Minor. I encourage you to chapa siasa with us on 0111 980384. By the way, Christopher, today I want us to delve kidogo out of what you spoke last time. You remember you spoke about agribusiness.
Yes.
And how the government is faring on in terms of agriculture.
Yes.
Yeah, how are things? How is your farm so far?
The farm is okay.
Right.
At our area right now, we are we're expecting the rains.
Okay.
And we are preparing the land in readiness for planting.
Yeah, I want us to talk about the youth.
Yes.
Before you move into youth and agribusiness,
yes.
Where are we at? What do you have to say about where we are right now? And by the way, this is Politics Today, so we are not going to escape politics. To some extent, I would want your opinion, because the other day, the president went to Kericho and gave computers for the ICT hub. There's a lot of setting up of ICT hubs. Of course, these ICT online jobs, most of the people working on it, I would imagine, would be the youth. I don't know whether you get the help of your son or sons. You know, Boni Khandwale said he has 10 sons. So, or daughters, you know, in case you want to check things online, you know, probably, let's move on this direction. Where are we at? Which are the areas you feel the youth can tap on? And can the youth also come into agriculture? Are they taking advantage of that space?
Thank you, Jonah.
Yeah.
Talking of the youth, generally, I would say that the country needs the youth to be in every sector. Because, as you are aware, a country without a youth is like a herd that does not have young heifers. Obviously, when the old livestock are normal,
right,
you will not have animals, either bulls or cows in your herd. So we have to prepare these young people to take over from the other old generation. And speaking of them, I'm sure what you want to hear from me is how we can engage them in our economy.
Right.
If you talk of agriculture, for some time, agriculture has been associated with the older generation. Mm-hmm. And for them, the young people, to be drawn into liking agricultural activities, obviously we have to look at where these young people are coming from. These young people want to engage in ventures that don't take long to bring in income. Majority of them want, wherever they enter, to see returns quickly.
Yeah, because of the generation. This is a generation of instancy. You know, our yesterday generation, we could take time, but now things are very fast, almost instant blood. Yeah.
Fine. That one is we have to take them along, the young people. If you look at agricultural activities go in value chains. You have got planting, you have got harvesting, you have got storage, and you have got marketing. Now, in all these activities that are done in the agricultural sector, let me single out the one where we have to go to do agricultural marketing. The traditional methods we've been used to in agriculture, where our emphasis since independence was about produce, and produce more. It came to a point where if it is maize, for example, you would find sometimes too much in the stores and a glut in the market. You find prices going down. If it is milk, you would find in some areas, especially during rainy season, when milk is a lot, there would be glut, and you would even find milk being poured down. So we now have to think about market-led agriculture, so that when we are doing this production of agricultural commodities, we have to do that with the market in mind. What am I really saying? What I'm saying is the different segments of agriculture need to be addressed, especially in the markets, in different ways. We can come in issues like if it is milk, you need to address the milk with value addition in mind.
Now, just there on milk, really, do you believe in our youth to be innovative enough, really? Because it is sad if milk can be poured in terms of plenty. Is there something like value addition? Can't it be turned into yogurt or something? You know, some of these products that can be kept rather than the milk being spoiled. Does it speak of a gap? Are we talking of a lack in some kind of industrial, ways of storing this kind of milk?
Jonah, this is where I was coming to. If you are talking of milk production, first of all, this milk is majority of the people produce milk and take it to dairy cooperatives. Where you find many farmers taking milk to dairy cooperatives, you will find that in those cooperatives, they will need to have coolers to store that milk as fresh. They will also need to have pasteurizers to process that milk and sell it as fresh milk. But when that milk is surplus, they will require facilities to do what you just mentioned, value addition, production of products like yogurt, mala, and then once they do that, they will also require to package the same. And to do packaging, you will require to go an extra mile to obtain certification like Kenya Bureau of Standards, KEBS, and all that, so that you can enter the marketing chain. Now, this is an area where, if you are talking about the youth, this is an area where the youth can be engaged effectively, because now that one is an area that would take us to processing. And when we are doing processing and packaging and now marketing, now that one, you are realizing that the youth now, when it comes to that, you will require marketers. We've got graduates who have graduated from colleges, they have done marketing. We can bring them in. We have got others who have graduated, they have got experience, they have got knowledge in dairy technology. We can bring them in those dairies for them to help us. And speaking of that, you realize that we also require extension officers to be able to help our farmers in the terms of production of milk, clean milk. And speaking of extension officers, you realize agriculture was devolved. And if you go to the county governments today, you realize those extension officers are not as many. Government does not employ these graduates. And we have to be innovative. If at all these county governments do not have the capacity to hire these extension officers who have graduated from our institutions, why can't we try a method of even introducing private extension services? We can educate our farmers to appreciate hiring private extension services and to educate our farmers, because now when you are doing it commercially, that is farming, you will have to spend in your enterprise. You will have to allocate a budget even for extension services. So if our cooperatives can engage our young people who are leaving universities and colleges, who are technically qualified as private extension officers, that would help. But that does not mean that government is not having its role. Government still has its role. It's only that we've realized that so far the departments that were doing extension work no longer do them as it were.
Okay. ICT hubs, yes, and the youth. Are you seeing a place where now what you've spoken, are you seeing agriculture, maximizing on the ICT hubs? In any case, does the ICT hub idea make sense to you as a normal farmer?
First of all, Jonah, I will talk first as a normal farmer, and two, as a person who has done training to farmers in agribusiness, in promotion of their businesses. It is true that technology, especially IC technology, can help the farmers to be able to access markets. I told you the biggest problem we are having with the agricultural produce is markets. And these ICT hubs, if you can be able to put products online for potential buyers to buy, these hubs would help for this produce to reach not only the local market, but to reach market elsewhere, even far. We've got, for example, if you go to an area like Makueni, you may find that, because there was a time I worked there for quite a number of years, promoting value chains. You find that there are farmers there who are doing local poultry. They are growing, they have got hatcheries, they hatch these day-old chicks, and they would like to market them far. And probably there are people who demand them and they are not aware. But if you can put some of these things through ICT, through online and all that, those those people can be able to access, even in our East African market. Okay. If you are probably not aware, maybe I would tell you. If, for example, you want to hatch chicks,
right?
The experts will tell you that the eggs that are supposed to be taken into the incubator are not any eggs. They are supposed to have been hatched in during a certain period of time for them to be put in those incubators. So you need this education to be with everybody.
So you're seeing this training being accessed in these hubs?
Yeah, sure. This our young people should be able to access this information so that they can help to transmit it in the markets. I have spoken of local poultry. If it is something like now the dairy sector, where I am quite involved in, you find majority of our farmers have got problem with feeds. Feeds. It may interest you to note that apart from the traditional ways we've been used to of growing crops, these days it has become very profitable to plant grass. Grass is a very profitable venture today. We've got farmers today who do not have pasture and they have got livestock and they would like to buy balers of good grass like pomerods and others. And we've got farmers today who have entered in that venture. They are growing grass for sale commercially. Yesterday, I met another farmer who has got a land of about 200 acres. And he told me in a season, he is able to harvest about 5,000 balers of grass.
That's on the 200 acres?
Yes.
All of it, or maybe part of it?
It's not all of it, because he's also doing some grazing on part of it.
Oh, okay.
But if you take that arithmetic, if you take 5,000 balers and you multiply it by, say, an average of 300 shillings per baler.
Right.
Don't you see that farmer is in business?
That's right. That's right. I'm seeing a situation here. The other day, we had somebody from one of the online marketing platforms.
Yes.
That was basically Gigi. And the country director, Mr. Donald Obonyo, was here with us.
Yes.
And he was explaining to us how the youth should explore these marketing platforms. It is clear now the focus is on the youth.
Yes.
It is clear that slowly public participation, as we spoke with you last week on realistic public participation, demands that the youth put their hands, on the plow. But now let's use the Kericho example, because you're from Ukambani, but let's take the Kericho example where an ICT hub has already been taken there. Who is it that is supposed to challenge the proper maximization of that ICT hub? Let me put it to you this way. What is the proper way to ensure that that hub does not turn into an elephant project? I mean, do we need some kind of program to challenge the youth, or what do you think? Do you think the youth will take it up? Is there interest really? Right now, especially since we know about phones and free Wi-Fi's all over.
Jonah, my experience with government-led projects.
Right.
As you are aware, Jonah, I've also in the past worked, I've also been a civil servant in government.
Yeah.
And I know when you're introducing any program to benefit the community, it is very easy for a project to be termed as a government project. And therefore, you will find people detached from it if they consider it as a government project.
Right.
But if you turn it around and it becomes
community,
they own the community,
own the project.
Own the project.
Right.
They will appreciate its benefits if they own it as a community. So I would expect,
right,
these hubs, I would expect sensitization, so that the youth will understand that this is their project, these are the benefits, and more so appreciate these are the ways they can utilize.
Probably there's free Wi-Fi there.
You see,
I know a youth who actually buys and sells dollars, and this man makes a lot of money on a daily basis. But just on his phone, he has to sit around somewhere. Then probably this is an avenue, free Wi-Fi.
Well, Jonah, that is right. But let me ask you, in our curriculum,
I can't hear you.
In our curriculum,
yes,
in our education curriculum,
right?
Do we sensitize our youths about our students about money markets? How many know about money markets?
Okay.
You see, these things, opportunities are available, but how many people are exposed to them? Like, for example, if you just ask a young person in the streets, what are bonds? What are the money markets? Some, very, very few may know what those are. Yet, as you have told me, you can do a lot of trading online.
Yeah, this man this young guy doesn't make less than 3,000 daily, not less. That's a very bad day for him.
If he makes 3,000 bob daily, and that is a bad day for him, you are talking of a minimum of about going to 100,000, 90 to 100,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
just on his phone,
that is a good income, a smart income. That is a reasonable income for a young person.
Right.
And that's why I'm telling you, Jonah, we the way we've been sensitized, the way in the past, people knew that education, once you are educated, education should only lead you to
permanent and pensionable
job. Employment,
yes,
job, and you have to be under a certain company, a certain organization, under government's body and all that, so that you go sit behind a desk,
yeah, it's almost
and wait
like,
for 30 days in a month to get an income.
It's almost like it's a sin to cross jobs, and nowadays people cross jobs a lot.
Now, need to sensitize our youth that times have changed. You need now to go out there and be challenged upstairs about opportunities. Opportunities that are, let me give you an example. And I will give you the same example using the dairy sector again.
Right.
If you go to these wet areas where there is a lot of fodder, where there is a lot of livestock feed, and where everybody is engaged in it, I'm talking of areas like Nyandarua, Kinangop, and what have you. Those are with very good climatic conditions suitable for livestock rearing. And you will find everybody there keeping an animal, a dairy animal.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you were to look at the price of farm gate price of a liter of milk there,
right,
you would find probably the milk marketing at a range of about 30 shillings per liter.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because there is a lot of supply of it in that area.
Right.
But should you just move out of that area and go to milk deficient areas where probably it is semi-arid,
yeah,
go to northeastern, go to very dry areas and do it there successfully, then you will find there's a lot of demand for the same product, where you will find a liter of milk going for an excess of about 70 shillings per liter. Why? Because there's a lot of demand.
Right.
So the farmer doing it in the dry area will earn probably more than double of the farmer in those soft areas I've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these are things that when you are doing business, you have to think about. Because business is about demand and supply, opportunities and all that. So these, our young people, they have to explore areas that are non-traditional. Like you have talked of the ICT area, that is an area that is not very saturated. Talk of areas like the medical profession.
And right now the doctors are on strike or not, because the mood today across the country, the strike has been called and the doctors are not on strike. The doctors are at work. In fact, they're saying it's a national issue. You know, I've seen even in Kwambani, where you come from, the doctors are working hard. I've seen Makueni, I've seen different places. We've been following it here at Science TV. The doctors are at work, but the leaderships of KMPDU are actually saying the doctors are on strike. But anyway, that's...
Yeah, that is another issue. But what I was trying to drive at, I was trying to drive at opportunities. Like, if you look at the job market, I'm told that a profession like nursing right now is quite marketable. And we've got demand for those professionals all over the place, even in foreign countries. And for your information, when these our young people are leaving schools,
we're just about to go for break,
and they are going to join tertiary institutions.
Yes.
It is important for them to be exposed to areas where they can get opportunities, so that we do not churn out a big population of youth who will end up being jobless.
Well said. We have Christopher NZAU. Christopher NZAU, what do you do? Agribusiness?
That is
that's your portfolio.
That's my name.
Okay. Christopher NZAU. We are going for a break. This is Politics Today. Chapa Siasa with us on 0111 980384. See you after the break.